Today we're going to talk about visuals, specifically PowerPoint. So what is the point in PowerPoint? Is it to write my speech on my slides so I don't have to use any note cards and can therefore read my slides to you one after another, lulling you into a state of utter and complete pseudo-hypnotic boredom? I made that up. Okay, but really, what do these words do for you? Absolutely nothing. So what is the point of PowerPoint? The point of PowerPoint is to supplement the words that you're saying. PowerPoint slides are not your note cards. They're not your speech. They're not your manuscript. They are pictures or words to help the audience understand what you're talking about. PowerPoint is not your speech. Let me say it again. PowerPoint is not your speech. The attention should always be on the speaker and not on the PowerPoint. Do not read off the projection. You should not use your PowerPoint slides as your note cards. Rather, you should have note cards off to the side. You should be looking at the audience, and the PowerPoint again supplements some of the items that you're saying. Just because things can move and just because things can type in one word at a time doesn't mean that you should make it do that. And back to those famous gut yuckies. Notice the effect that the red and the blue have on you, a bad combination. You want to be really aware of color and design and all of those sorts of things and the effect that they have on the audience. And be very mindful of how you put things together and how they're going to be received. Just because you can make something spin doesn't mean that you should make something spin. Done research and they know that when people like to read words in books, they prefer one type of font, but when they like to see things projected on the screen, they like a different. So when you project words, such as in PowerPoint, people prefer plain fonts. So what you'll see is a chart, Verdana being one of the more popular, Arial's also highly popular, Times very popular. These are popular fonts that do not have what I like to call tails. Just to give you a reference, if you look at the row on the left, you'll see the plain font, Arial, Verdana, Compact Sans. I personally, Impact is nice. It fits the category, but it may be a little too fat and hard to read. On the right-hand side, you'll see the other types of fonts. Again, these would be ones that would be good to have in a written text, but not necessarily in a projected text. If you'll notice also, the size of all these is 28, and that's going to be standard for whenever you're doing a PowerPoint. You need to make sure that you do things that are 28 or larger. If you'll notice, 28 is easy to read, and yet it's not too large that it doesn't feel like it's screaming at you. Is you should always have your PowerPoints 28-point font or larger. How about this? Can you read red on blue? You can read it. Back to the gut yuckies. And sometimes on the projectors at the university and other places, you actually cannot tell the difference between the letters and the background. Here's another one. Again, you can see this one, but again, it just doesn't look right. Yellow on maroon. This one sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. While there's a nice contrast in most computer screens, it will look good. When projected, sometimes maroon washes out and is not a very good color to use. Black on maroon, I have seen it happen time and time again that students will use this color combination and you absolutely cannot read it when projected on some of the university screens. So suggestions. I always suggest that you use a very light color background and dark letters. Black on white, red on white, a darker blue on white. Those tend to work the best. And also a darker background such as black or navy with white or yellow. You can also add shadows to make the letters stand out. So, as a rule, dark on light or light on dark. Next, you need to remember the 6 by 6 rule. You never want to have more than 6 words across and 6 words down. PowerPoints are just for brief points. They're not where you're going to put essay. So they're not going to be where you put full sentences, but simply a few points. You never want to have more than 6 words across and 6 words down. PowerPoints are just for brief points. They're not where you're going to put essay. So they're not going to be where you put full sentences, but simply a few points. So now the question is, what was the text about? Do you remember? When I do this in a live class, most students can't remember what the words were. And in fact, they were about PowerPoint being originally called Presenter. So why did I do this? Oftentimes people will take a funny picture or a powerful image and they'll couple it with a text. And the image becomes so powerful that we don't pay attention to the words. So there's a couple things to do. One of the things is if you've got a powerful picture or you've got a funny picture, it's okay to use it. Use it as the only thing on the screen and then move to the words and move to something else to re-engage us and make us think. But never couple it with the words of something that's contrary or to what you're talking about, because it just becomes a distraction. Now sometimes you can use the pictures again in a very powerful way to help supplement the message that you're passing off to the audience, as in this one. Here's a lovely use of a picture a student has done where they just took a full screen and put a full screen picture of a piece of scenery, in this case the Taj Mahal. Then you have to ask yourself, if the speech is on the Taj Mahal, do I even need to put the words up there at all? Now, here's a slide on 80s hairstyle. This particular speaker put the most popular hairstyle in the 1980s was the feathered or winged look. Farrah Fawcett made this style famous. Now notice the problem here. The speaker actually put the words on the slide. Remember, there's a difference between the slide and the speech. The speaker would say these words, the most popular hairstyle, and the slide would simply supplement what was being said by having pictures. And in this case, my wings and the picture on the right were almost as good as Farrah's wings, the picture on the left.